first time I've been to the beach, despite living and working on the Oregon coast, in about 2.5 to 3 months. It's very, very windy right now. You can just see all sorts of dust flying through the sky, but man, you know, as somebody who works on the coast and is constantly next to the ocean, it feels so good to be out here. Favorite things about going around the beach is walking around and kind of scouring the place for various objects and treasures that have been uncovered by the tides. All sorts of, you know, crab shells and broken clams and rocks and kelp and things that were initially out in the ocean that through the forces of nature have been thrown out and around. And when you're kind of walking around in those areas, there's just so much cool stuff that you can find while out exploring. And so that's just, I think, probably my favorite part about being out in the ocean. And the fact that there's, you know, so much cool stuff around the beach also just helps when, you know, there's just plenty to film. I really love it. So here's the secret. I actually filmed about the second half of that on the 28th today rather than the 27th, because that sequence was so cool and I had such a good idea of playing with the sand and trying to create this sort of, you know, desert North African sands of time, seeing the way time flows type idea. But I kind of ran out of footage, and so instead of scrapping the idea or cutting it prematurely, I actually, ironically enough, went forward in time and filmed on the 28th. So with that, once the sequence is done, let's go back to the 27th. Well, the trials and tribulations of field biologist. There's a fallen set of trees over the road here. It's close enough to the other point that I think I'm probably just gonna park here and hike my way in for the night. But you know, it's just this kind of things that happen. If it was further out, I would probably spend time taking a saw or something and like cutting out all the different branches of the fallen tree. But because it's really not too terribly far, I think I'm probably just gonna not bother and get some food and then just hike in. Well, this is the face of somebody with a tremendous amount of relief and just a bit of itchiness from poison oak on my arms. So the other night I was doing owl calling, and after my last point, I kind of forgot to put the collar off of from the top of the truck roof. And so I heard kind of a banging sound, and when I got out of the truck to investigate, I thought that it was the antenna that had also fallen off. And so I got back onto the truck and put the antenna back on, and the collar was on the ground. It had fallen from the roof. And I went out there tonight to see if the collar was still around, and very, very thankfully, it's in the exact spot that it fell. It still works. I checked to make sure that the calls properly go through and all that, so I can actually go and do the tonight's surveys without much incident. By the way, for future reference for all of you, if you have to clear out a trail that has a large amount of poison oak, don't be cavalier and dumb and do it with short sleeves, because I'm very much regretting that right now. My arms are quite itchy. Such a disconcerting juxtaposition, because there's this level of beauty out there where you see these vast rolling hills and these kind of open spaces, but then you also kind of think about the cost of what it took to get these cleared areas and to have this open sky. And especially somebody who thrives on sunlight, it's always a funny thing. An awareness of what I'm looking at is on some scale cataclysmic to that area and place, but at the same time astonishingly beautiful. It's really crazy to me when you see, areas that have had a disturbance in the coastal rainforest, just how rapidly and thoroughly these plants grow through this area. You got all these really, really tall grasses. Like, look at this. Like, this blade of grass is like all the way up to my face here. And there's still a couple months left of the growing season, which means this thing is going to get even longer over time. And you've just got all of these plants just on this frantic journey to try to find any bit of space they can, and just all growing together. And it's really quite amazing to watch the battle for sunlight, space, and resources. Okay, well, I think that's be it for today's video. That was a great deal of fun. Hope you all enjoyed going to the beach and some of the other beautiful places out here. I've got a hike into one of the owl sites, so I'm gonna be heading out for the day, but hope you all had a blast. For those of you who are not yet subscribed to Wanderlust, please do so. And for those of you who are, thank you. And until next time, everyone, wander in wonder. Enjoy yourselves.